Hey guys, I'm Ali, and my documentary is about illegal immigration in Malaysia. Now, before I start, I want you guys to think about the illegal immigrants here in Malaysia. Now, tell me, are they good or bad? Now, some of you might say,
Build a wall, build a wall. We need to build a wall, build a wall, build a wall. Build a wall, build a wall. We need to build a wall, build a wall, build a wall. Build a wall, build a wall. We need to build a wall. Beautiful door.
okay, but wait. If you don't want them here in your country, so who will do the work that the locals don't want to do themselves? Yeah, those bad immigrants will do those work. In Malaysia, they are mostly treated like criminals, even if they are not. And the only crime they committed is to find a safer place for themselves and their families, and getting out of their dangerous situations. I'm not saying that they're not violating the nation's law, but they're not also getting the basic human rights they need to live in. They don't have the freedom to go out, they are paid very low wages, and the fear of getting arrested or deported back to their countries by the police is also rounding their heads all the time. Malaysia needs greater responsibilities towards the refugees working in their soil, because they are not less than humans. Illegal immigration is the migration of people across the nation's border without complying with legal requirements. There are a huge number of people who actually arrived legally but overstayed their visas and got illegalized. The term illegal immigrants are highly contested, as some consider it as a pejorative term, since some of them are violating the nation's law and legal issues. Because of these reasons, Malaysian government are imposed strictly towards illegal immigrants to prevent the effects caused by them. And as a result, they get arrested and harassed by the police. It's late at night in the streets of KL, and not everyone is going home tonight. The police are raiding the roads and seeking for the illegal immigrants. Uniformed and armed police are seeking for the immigrants without proper documentation. And if they can't show the proper documentation of their legalization, it doesn't take them long to make an arrest. The authorities use the phrase illegal migrants as Malaysia never signed the UN Convention for recognizing refugees. In the eyes of the government, there is no difference between those meaning asylum and those entering the country unlawfully. They think all of them are criminals. Mostly the migrants are from Indonesia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nigeria, and the Philippines. All these people who are arrested tonight will be sent to the immigration detention center. Despite the harassment, refugees come to Malaysia because it's easy to get in. It is estimated that there are 150,000 of them in the country. Most of them are paid less than $1 for the jobs that Malaysians themselves don't want to do. When asylum seekers first arrive in Malaysia, they come here to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, or the UNHCR. Every morning there's a long line of people desperately seeking for help, and many has made journeys up to tens of thousands of kilometers. According to the UN officials, there's a number of 1,000 people rounding up every day. That many applicants has created a massive backlog for themselves, and people are told that it will take years before they are even registered as refugees. They are also told that they may never be resettled. But back in the streets, the police are expanding their crackdown and are framing the fear for the migrants of deportation and being sent to the immigration detention center. They don't even consider the delay of the UNHCR and arrest anyone without proper documentation. Those who don't have them stay out of sight, but the others get caught. Those who are arrested will be sent to the detention center, which is located in Sepang, Malaysia. This is a footage of the immigration detention center, which was captured by a hidden camera of a crime research team. Although this isn't a jail, but it looks like one. People here are assaulted physically and are given very little food to eat and drink. There's also some cases of tortured deaths in the detention center. They are chained to each other and are not allowed to wear shoes.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
This is also hidden footage by a crime research team of a fraud who claims to be an UNHCR officer.
Audio Jungle.
He promises to provide an UNHCR register for a price.
Audio Jungle.
Wa ko salu ka jura ya shuk sakha machine ne mutu machine ne la la kana ko ban khata mu ni dinna
The man's tag says that he's a volunteer for another Myanmar refugee group, but he claims that he's working with UNHCR. And he's not the only one who claims as the fake UNHCR officer. This man's tag identifies him as an UN translator, but he offers to sell UNHCR card for a huge price. He also mentioned that the boss behind this is a high-level UNHCR officer. These are the reason why these simple peoples have to suffer a lot. And they lead a life full of crisis. Deportation of the illegal immigrants is not only causing these poor people's jobs, but it's also separating families away from each other. And these people are trapped into their situations, hoping that someday their luck will change. Since the scandal at the UN, Malaysia has become more determined to lock up anyone illegally entering the country. That leads many who fled persecution spending months and even years behind the bars.
Audio Jungle.
And even if they haven't committed any crimes, and even for those who are not locked up, They face a life of fear and uncertainty,
Audio
which makes them feel less than human and more like animals.
Audio Jungle.